on my little stroll for the night. I probably should have just went to bed, but I'm out strolling. I just finished Boxing Best Judge episode 1, where I broke down what was going on between Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields. And I want to go further into that because, the fight was built up to be, it was for the undisputed middleweight championship of the world. The biggest fight in women's boxing history. You had the pound for pound best female fighter in the world, Clarissa Shields, against a fighter that does have a victory over her, which was in the amateurs 10 years ago. Nevertheless, it is a victory because Marshall has been able to kind of use that victory to hold it over the head of Clarissa Shields, where, Clarissa Shields, her moniker is the GOAT, the greatest woman of all time. So, to have this L on your record, and it's been lingering on for the past 10 years, being that they're both fighters, they both have ego, Clarissa Shields, she still feels a way about this. But anyway, as I watched the fight, I watched the fight twice. And the two things that rang out of my mind the most about this fight was, number one, Clarissa Shields was ready for the moment. During my lesson, I brought up Sugar Ray Leonard versus Roberto Duran when they fought their first fight in Montreal in 1980. Duran had been a dominant champion who was still in his prime. However, he was quite a few years older than Ray. Ray at that point was only 23 years old and managed to put himself in a position, because of his skill and how great he was, to actually make a fight with Roberto Duran seem as if Duran actually did win that fight. He would probably surpass guys like Henry Armstrong. You know what I'm saying? And Willie Pep. And there could be that argument of, is he as good as Ray Robinson? Now, this is how good Ray Leonard was, that a guy who dominated a whole weight class can, now move up in weight and fight what a lot of people are saying is going to be the next Ray Robinson, which was Ray Leonard. Now, the reason why I'm going around that whole block, I'm setting up the stage for what at that point was the biggest welterweight fight in boxing history. And Duran had quite a few years experience, and he had been champion for quite a few years. He dominated he was the fighter of the decade of the 70s. I'm just gonna put it out there. That's what he was. The same 70s that had Muhammad Ali in it, and Joe Frazier in it. And, there was just so many great monsters back there. And Duran was the king of them all. Gets in there with Ray Leonard. And this is Ray Leonard's biggest fight of his career, too. He's the champion. And he allowed himself to fall to the emotional and mental warfare that only a fighter of the caliber of Roberto Duran could do. He was able to bring Ray Leonard's wife in it, say some personal things about her while it was nationally televised. Ray lost his shit, and instead of trying to box and beat Duran, he tried to get in there and kill Duran, which fed into exactly what Duran wanted him to do. Leonard, in his first fight on that big a stage, on the big stage in boxing, buckled under pressure a bit because he allowed Duran to get him out of his self, get him out of his game. It wasn't that he shrank under the lights. It's just that when he got under the lights, he forgot what put him under the lights in the first place and evacuated that mission because, he's just a kid. Same thing I seen with Savannah. She has less than 15 professional fights, fighting a two-time Olympic gold medalist, somebody that's saying that they're the greatest female fighter of all time. It was a lot for her to deal with. In her own country, sold out arena, all female boxing night, pay-per-view, biggest thing in London. And the young lady it took her about 5 rounds to get into the fight. And the first half of the fight, complete domination by Clarissa. She succumbed to her emotions, Savannah did. She kind of settled down in the second half of the fight. And from 6 to 10, she fought a much better fight, although the ring generalship, the overall experience, being cool under pressure, the defense, the clean punching, the counter punching, it was just too much, man. Clarissa just had too much. I think they're both great. I'd like to see them fight after they had 10 more fights apiece. Neither one of them has 15 fights. These are just baby professionals. So I think in about 2 years, they can get 10 fights between them, possibly. 2-3 years. And, Marshall, she should be able to learn from this. If she does learn from this, it's going to be a hell of a fight. I think she just gave too much up to Clarissa Shields. She kind of just fell in under the limelight, man. But she fought great. She fought her ass off. Congratulations, Clarissa Shields, Savannah Marshall, on history.